Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be checking out a bunch of videos that are comic dubs of Undertale. Now specifically, this is going to be Cor Frisk and the Dreamtale Comic Dubs, both by Stormberry MC. Now, I'm mostly doing this because, one, Above Average Gaming made an entire master playlist of an entire massive amount of various Undertale animations I should check out, and I'm going to do that. But also because I've recently gone into Underverse, and there are so many characters. Yeah. Which is why I'm checking this out specifically, Cor Frisk and Dreamtale, because those, I'm assuming, since they've been named in Underverse in episode 1 and 2, I should probably check them out. Seems like it would be useful. More importantly, we're going to do that. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original videos. Hit them up. Let's get started. And first up, we have Cor Frisk.
Once upon a time, there was a child who grew up in the
Echoey.
middle of a civil
Probably
war.
intentional, though.
It wasn't an unhappy childhood. Not really. It was just unstable.
Air raid? Yeah, air raid.
Dangerous. They were told their dad was killed. Their mama died of infection.
Okay, so Cor Frisk has a fucked up, probably general European war feel because of the weapons used. I'm not sure if that's standard to everyone, but I just initially always seem to think of these kind of general GI things as maybe World War II
When
era.
that happened, the child decided to leave this place. They took everything they could, determined to get away. Perhaps to find some orphanage in a far, far away place. And upon their journey, they came to a mountain
I think
called
people mentioned this was
Mount
somewhere,
Everest.
like there's actually a
They
mountain named this,
never
but I
meant
couldn't be
to
sure if that was just
fall.
in canon
All they wanted
or
was
in reality.
supplies and some nice little adventure exploring the forest. But they did. And man, it was an adventure far greater than they could ever
Which would be
imagine.
Undertale.
An adventure so great, with people so wonderful, that they wanted to live through it again. And again. And again.
Okay, that's actually a really cool effect. They have all the words in different layers just kind of blurred out here. Now, if this was digital only, that would be one thing. It's like, okay, cool. But it looks like this is actually a scan of something that was inked down. So that's a much harder process to do. So they might have just done very light bits of ink, or then they erased part of it, or they digitally added it in later on. I don't know, but that's a really cool effect. Neat.
The child had never even considered what they do is selfish and might be hurting someone. And by the time they realized,
Oh?
they could never go back.
Okay, that is actually creepy. Like just that sudden reveal of the eyes being these empty, like soulless sockets in their face. No mouth, no nose, just empty holes that are bigger than the eyes should be. It takes the entire, here's the cutesy giant eyes, and just plays with it in a much more disturbing pattern. On the other hand, usually when Frisk has her eyes up, they're just like little slits, just aligned to indicate that it's there. And honestly, it's very expressive. This is just the exact opposite. It's terrifying. Oh. Doku Doki. I don't know what they were a fan of. Maybe literature, like in a club setting even. The Omega timeline.
Yes, would you like to go there?
Okay, so this is after Cor Frisk was created, because I actually know a little bit about this one, how she's like, I'm good. I want to keep being good. Oh, will be good before me. I'm playing it up a bit, but that's just because I like doing that. But yeah, she's like, she's fucked in the head, but in an interesting way. That's not the usual way played out.
Yes,
Well, sure. How do I get there?
it's very simple.
It's very quiet right now.
All you have to do is walk through any door while thinking about going there. Go ahead, try it.
That's it.
Well, might as well do it. It can't be any worse than this.
Welcome to the Omega Timeline.
Whoa. Okay, there's a lot of different characters there. So we got an Alphys, we got a little kid, we got a Frisk and a Frisk, we got a ghost with a space theme? Dapper Papyrus. Out of all the things here, I'm pretty sure that's like a swap papyrus instead of sans. But, okay, Dapper Papyrus. Was not expecting that, and I'm kind of loving it.
Omega Timeline. This
Very
timeline
white.
can be entered by anyone, no matter where you are from. The amount of time you can spend here is unlimited. You can't enter other people's timelines from here, though. Only your own. But this
Oh, that is a really weird audio choice. Like, go back and listen to this. Just listen to that music. It's actually playing in reverse to make it sound so off-putting.
Welcome to the Omega Timeline.
Starting right here.
This timeline can be entered by anyone, no matter where you are from. The amount of time you can spend here is unlimited. You can't enter other...
I'm going to see if I can play this in reverse. Is there a way to do this backwards? Nope. No, there is not. That is disappointing. Because I would love to hear what that sounds like naturally. Because it's something about reverse music. It hits everyone in my, oh, fuck, go back vibes. And it's like, yeah, here it's happy and safe. And it feels like you shouldn't be.
Other people's timelines from here, though. Only your own. But this place is never empty.
Except it's literally an empty room.
Introducing someone new?
Yep.
Cool. Can I show them around after you're done?
Go ahead.
I actually do really like the effect they put on the audio for Cor Frisk. It sounds incredibly echoey, like they're a tin recording. And my initial impression based on the GI and the planes was World War II, so maybe that's actually intentional to an old style effect.
Nice.
Including the black and
Thanks.
white.
When I first discovered this place, it was empty. Everyone you see here was told to get here by me. Most people are just visiting, but there are a few who decided to move in permanently.
Do they get houses or just
They
live
are
in
all
it empty?
genocide survivors, just like you.
Oh!
Say, do you like this place?
Yes. Thank you, Frisk.
So it's literally just
Hold me
survivors.
the door, Francis. We absolutely mustn't let him in.
What?
What are you doing?
Okay. One? That looks like a spacey gaster. I have no idea who that is. Maybe like a tall Alphys? Because I just see yellow and I got no idea what's up with these two kids. I say Frisk at first, but no, I don't. Wait, is that the Google symbol? And Chinese lettering in their hair? Could be Japanese. It's hard to tell. Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Ah, just in time, Frisk. Please call some.
Ain't you being just a tiny little uncool?
Silence.
The audio levels are kind of all over the place. It's not bad, and none of the volumes sound horrible. Like, all of the quality of the audio is pretty good. So at least as far as recording goes, they're nice. I just feel like the mastering could be a little better. Which is coming from me, who always fucks up his own audio mastering. Yeah, I have no room to judge.
Broski, chum chum pal. I'm telling you that.
You will not pass.
Come on, pal, let me in.
Absolutely not.
Was there a Darth Vader effect in there at the end?
Pass.
Come on, pal, let me in.
Absolutely not.
Let me solve it.
They added a Darth Vader breathing in mask sound effect. Oh my god. All they need now is someone doing the Wilhelm scream at this rate.
Go, Frisk. Tell that guy that he is not welcome.
Oh god, it's Fresh Sands. He's tall.
Ugh.
Sorry, he's
Oh, it's a lion. I have no idea who that is.
new. You know the rules. Keep it low and don't harm anyone.
Wouldn't dare to, my gray bud. After all, I'd hate to have you as my enemy.
Same.
Oh god, they even put beatboxing in as soon as Fresh Hands. I don't just. Oh god, it's. I know he's actually a lot darker and smarter than he's come off because people have shown me explicit information about him. But god damn, it's so cringy.
Say, friend, what are other timelines like? Are they happy or sad?
Oh, well, it really depends.
Baby papyrus.
Some timelines are
Ah.
miserable.
Okay. This is an example of the artist just showing a little bit of the fact that, yes, they are incredibly competent, and if they want to do fucked up shit, they can do fucked up shit. Wow. I mean, just that little moment of showing off. It's like, yeah, don't worry. I can do other styles as well.
And then there are timelines where everyone has Mettaton's legs except Mettaton, or timelines where I'm an octopus. Seriously, what?
Were there an octopus? What would that be? Octatail? I'd say a nine-tail, but that would be a little off-putting. Too foxy for my taste.
What's the point?
Even though they are
Who's
for nothing.
Mettaton?
Yeah, no Mettaton
thanks
there.
for showing me this timeline. You're pretty great, Cor.
Frisk.
Huh?
My name is not Cor, it's Frisk. I don't mind if you use Cor when talking about me with someone else to avoid confusion, but please do not call me that.
Oh.
sorry. I'll do that from now on.
I was going to say that's Sans, but he has the same patches as Gaster. Also, just flat out, just showing off his ribs. Does this kind of almost being a exhibitionist for him? I don't like that thought. Let's ignore that thought.
Adder, what's the holdup?
Oh, sorry, GS. Me and Cor were just...
GS? Oh, and he's outer Sans, so he's the Undertale that literally the only difference is takes place in outer space, which apparently, pretty cool.
Oh no. Please don't.
I mean, technically, she did just, or he did, or whatever they are, just said that they could use Cor when talking to other people to avoid confusion, so he was listening. Oh, fade out.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year from the Omega timeline!
Sure thing, bro.
So I'm assuming these are all just little clips that were done for the Omega timeline and Cor Frisk in general, and frankly, they're incredibly cute, and I like them. I wasn't sure if it was an overarching narrative or just an entire collection, but it looks like this is more of the collection aspect, and it's kind of cool to see them all curated here in this aspect. That said, I'm assuming there's way more than what we got here. In which case, neat. I hope they're added to the list.
Oh man, I can't wait. I've never seen New Year's celebrations before. This
How
will
do
be
they have
super
fireworks in
amazing.
an empty void?
It's a shame Cor won't be appearing though.
About that. Apparently they can't stand the sound of fireworks. Something about gunshots.
Yeah.
I know I said this already, but
What? Oh, so this isn't Cor with color. This is a different version of Frisk. Maybe Kara because of the red eyes.
sorry for trying to kill you the moment I spot you.
What?
It's fine. You weren't the first, and you won't be the last.
I feel even worse after hearing that.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. I understand. I am the bad guy on a multiversal level. I get it, all right?
Frisk is pretty awesome, right? The great one, I mean. They can travel.
They're talking about Frisk, but considering the red eyes, I'm assuming this is Kara in the body. Then that's why they're saying multiversal bad guy. Because initially people thought that Kara was the bad guy who was possessing Frisk. Then they thought Frisk is the bad guy for choosing to do the genocide run. And then eventually you come to the fact that, no, you're the bad guy and it's your choice. So, if you do it, you're the fucked up one. Which admittedly is the way I go for it because it's actually consequences on you if you decide to do something stupid. It's the illusion of choice flipped on its head and actually giving you a choice. Which is why the genocide run was made the most boring ending. As the final fuck you. We're going to take the one thing that made this awesome and give you nothing. If only they didn't have some of the absolute best songs in that run. I don't even play because I don't have the coordination to even get through anything in this game. But I love the music for it.
Travel across timelines, and I think that's cool. Wish I could do that.
Yeah, that's what most people seem to think. But I can tell.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
You see, Frisk is terribly homesick. They've been forced out of their timeline into a kind of existence they never asked for. It's true that they wouldn't change it now, but they really just want to go home.
Do they? Because they're the ones who have legitimately... Oh, when they mean home, they mean timeline, not the Earth prior to falling into the underground. Because admittedly, taking the monsters into the above ground at that point during a war would actually be a form of cruelty. Huh, but I'm sure that never actually crossed their mind because they were just a little kid when that happened.
But they can't. They can't go home. And none of us can be home. No matter how hard we try, Frisk will forever feel disassociated from everything.
Also, I love how you just have this moment right here. It's really good writing, actually, because you hear them talking about Cor Frisk and seeing them just smiling and being a happy little idiot. But you can tell they're not actually talking about Cor Frisk. They're talking about themselves more than that. And the projection is clear. It's I was going to say technique, but I can't speak today. A technique in writing where you say one thing, you mean another. And here it's just well done, even in a format that's mostly audio. Sometimes you can give additional clues when you have writing on here. In the same way that you can have the little lines alongside of them, the head tucked in, you get a lot more visual clues. It's well done.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
So let me get this straight.
Christmas?
You're saying that you were scattered across time and space, and now you're able to see every single timeline in all existing universes at the same time?
Oh god, Cor Frisk got Alucarded. She got Helsing abridged Alucarded. Well, I mean, not the abridged, but I consider that more canon than Helsing itself. Mostly because the anime actually had a significant interruption before Ultimate came out, but we're going to ignore that. Oh, dear God. Is there an Undertale that just randomly throws in Alucard laughing his ass off? And then just doing a pacifist run because he's the abridged version and it's much more hard for him than killing things? This would be funny to me. This would be so funny. It probably doesn't. No, wait, this is a highly competent fandom that has a lot of people who are really good writers and apparently very good animators. And if there's anything created long enough on the internet, eventually it'll do something stupid, so that might be enough to make anything I'm thinking about happen. I'm going to be very much paying attention to the comments section to see if they have an answer.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm not really buying that. Just because my notes support your claim doesn't mean I can trust you. If you can perceive all realities, then tell me this. Who is W.D. Gaster?
Dad?
In this timeline, he is your father.
What?
But there are many variations. This one is very common. Sometimes he's your older brother. Sometimes you're not related at all. There are even variations where you and Papyrus are two halves of Gaster. Sometimes...
That's enough. That's enough. I trust you.
Wait, there's versions where there is no Gaster. It's just Papyrus and Sans? Huh. Because they would be combining it to him. Oh, that's an interesting way to do it. I guess if everyone interprets it their own way. Huh.
I trust you.
I've also gained unlimited access to puns.
What?
For real?
Oh, no.
Hello?
Bone phone.
Hi, Sans.
That you, Frisk? Why are you calling when you're right next to...
Different one.
Oh, so it's you
Wait, what were they?
calling when you're
What
right
was
next
that?
to...
Papyrus's cooking, I'm assuming, is really bad. Also, they're eating that without a fork. Or is that a little line of fork? I honestly can't tell. Good art, though.
Oh, so it's you. Why are you using a phone? Couldn't you just appear out of the blue like you usually do?
I'm finding out whether my voice can be heard through cell phones.
Interesting.
Didn't you know this already?
For me to know something, it has to occur in any timeline. Maybe this is the timeline thanks to which I know I can use cell phones.
Oh.
Man, even though I studied this, it's all...
Now, that's actually a very interesting take on omniscience. You'd have to figure out what you don't know to learn anything you did know. So even though you would know everything, that would be everything that you could have known up to that point, not everything that did exist. It's everything you could have experienced in any timeline, which actually makes it harder because you'd have to understand what you haven't learned already and then see if anyone else has already done it. So you'd have to try and remember things you haven't done yourself. It's actually very confusing. In fact, it's almost weirder than omnipotence versus omniscience. It's actually a really interesting way to describe that. Where in this one, they can know anything that they have done, so that would be omniscience, so they can know anything, as opposed to omnipotence, where they would just have all the information. It's a small stepping stone, but an interesting one. I can't remember this as an example. Mostly because I've actually had to have that argument with people, and it does get confusing when you get really big terms that are completely outside the realm of any practicality.
all still confusing. How are you phoning me anyway? Are you using this cell phone in the past or the future?
Bone phone.
Nah. I borrowed Papyrus's phone. I'm in his room right now.
That's a little creepy.
Oh my god, kid. You're the best. You did this on purpose, didn't you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
When he was in the room cooking.
Say, Frisk, would you like to see something cool?
What is it?
Turn around and you'll see.
Huh? What was that?
Me, of course.
How did you do that?
Omniscience.
Did you teleport? I didn't even notice.
Technically speaking, I didn't move from this place. But yes, I did appear behind you.
So there were two of you?
It's more like they're everywhere and every when, and this is just the avatar you're allowed to see at any one moment. Theoretically, they can do the shadow clone thing, and every single one would be the real and a fake at the same time, which would be kind of really fun.
No, I can only project one interactive form per place and attention.
Oh, okay. I guess there's no shadow clones there. That's disappointing. Would have been funny. But also, hell on anyone who tries to write or draw that. It's actually one of the reasons that I think it was Kishimoto. No, wait. Who did Naruto again? I think it was Kishimoto. I could be mistaken. Mentioned that he regretted giving Naruto the shadow clone jutsu because it was a bitch to draw all the time. It was legitimately one of the reasons all these other techniques came up to distract from it because they were less annoying.
But that doesn't mean I'm not
Makes
firmly
sense.
behind you as well.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, imagine air. Are you imagining?
Yes?
Alright, the air is everywhere, at every place at once. It's completely surrounding you. Now try to blow on your hand.
What are you getting at?
You can feel the air on your hand. That's why you're able to focus on it. But otherwise, it's invisible and you're not aware of air that's surrounding you. However, that doesn't mean it's not there.
So, are you trying to say that you're the air and your body is like when I'm blowing on my hand?
I'm glad you understand.
Do they?
So, you have many invisible bodies all over the place, but you can only have one visible body at once?
Admittedly, it's more like you're swimming through a jello pool and you can only see the face every now and again when you come up for air, but you're always coming up for air. Admittedly, my metaphor is actually even more confusing than the one they're using, so let's pretend I didn't do that.
Not exactly.
It's not a
Don't
really
think of
weird
those as
concept, but
bodies, rather as something without any boundaries. But essentially, you're correct.
Oh,
I wonder if that's why they're
Wow.
black and white.
say, Frisk,
Yes,
do you miss home?
I do.
Oh.
What do they consider home?
If you had a chance to go back to before this all happened, and I mean not as you are now, I mean to stop being as you are now, and be a human again and go home, if you were given
they
a
not
chance,
count as human?
would you do that?
Interesting question. This is the first time I'm being asked in this timeline. What do you think the answer is?
You don't.
That's an interesting qualification there. The first time they're asked in this timeline. The caveat being that they've been asked before. So it's an interesting question with air quotes. They're more concerned about how this version of Frisk will interpret it because that reflects more on their mental state rather than theirs.
Correct.
Interesting
Do you know
writing.
why? Why I'd refuse if given such a chance?
You made friends.
That's right. Ever since being scattered, I have interacted with countless timelines. You think it's the same people all over again, but that's not true. Everyone is their own person. Everyone has their own life. I have met so many people, Frisk. If I gave up on my omnipresence, I'd never see any of them again.
But what
Now that's a very interesting take on a Zen concept of, well, just existence. I could go into a huge spiel about here on how you can interpret that, but I'm not sure if it would apply to this character in specific amounts. That said, it would be a really interesting dissertation type piece to use this as an example of what that would look like, to literally go from oneness to encompassing everything. As opposed to, I think it was, I keep forgetting, is it Zen Buddhism versus, there's another one that was also nihilism of elimination of the self versus embracing the self for elevation. I think it was Hinduism that was that as a way to escape the wheel of reincarnation. It's a very alternate take to that. And one is nihilistic and trying to delete the self as opposed to embrace the self. But again, this is from my outside perspective with just enthusiast level interest in any type of philosophy. So I could be very off the mark here.
What about bad timelines, where everyone is hurting and it can't be fixed, not even by you? Don't you wish you didn't have to
Does
see
she
those?
fix them?
True, there
Any
are
of
many
them?
timelines like that, and the number keeps growing constantly. But there are just as many timelines that are peaceful. Besides, if I became a human and went home, I wouldn't be able to hang out with you anymore, would I? Nor
Could
would
you still go to the
Pirates
Cor
or
timeline?
Sans or Alphys or anybody.
Oh, well, I can relate to that. Frisk,
Yes?
I'm glad you're here.
Same.
Good art, though. I like the stylization of the water. And next up, we have Dreamtale, which was created by Joku. Now, I know a little bit about this one because in the PDF I was given to explain what I needed to know for Underverse, it went into a lot of detail about Dreamtale, and frankly, I just want to see what it looked like in a different format, maybe with initial art, if that's something they have here. I'm assuming it is because similar person who did the last one, and that's kind of what I'm here for. Let's jump into it.
One of the oldest legends from long, long ago.
Okay, this is going to sound bad, but does that look like they're standing on a chicken to anyone else? probably just me, but it looks like a chicken. It looks like a fantasy chicken, okay? It's where my mind went. Maybe I'm hungry.
Tells of the existence of a tree that gave not one, but two types of fruit. One side gave birth to dark, black fruits, while the other gave birth to bright, golden ones. The tree was protected by two brothers. One took care of the dark side, and the other took care of the golden side. The golden fruits of the tree represented the hopes and dreams of all
and of course, they
living
stylized
things,
them as
while the dark
apples.
ones represented
Potentially
all
pear,
of their
though.
worries, jealousies,
And it looks like a heart, but with a little butt.
and fears. With the brothers taking care of the tree and its
Apple
power,
hearts.
peace ruled the land for many, many years.
This is Dreamtale, a huge world where the most important thing is a tree. Oh yeah, and that little one from over there.
Brother, can you hear me?
Oh,
Huh?
cutesy voice.
I'm coming, Dream.
The origins of Dream and
Oh.
Nightmare.
My big bro is really smug.
No, I'm not. Shut up.
You dork.
Oh my god. They are kind of adorable in the chibi art. So this is more of an overview of Dreamtale in general, just with all the art used. Okay. They have a lot of art as them as kids, before the corruption arc. Oh, it's DS and NM, so Dream Sends a Nightmare. Ah. Or he
But
became Nightmare.
the peace and happiness did not last.
Hmm?
One day, the brother that looked after the dark fruits felt envy because the golden fruits were much prettier than those that he looked after.
Oh?
And people came from all around the world to gaze upon his brother's golden fruits, but never his. As such, full of jealousy, he went behind his brother's back and took the golden fruit. He wanted to prove that he could take care of the golden fruit just as well as his
Oh.
brother could. However, the golden fruits, upon being touched by someone full of envy and jealousy, were rotted away and consumed.
No, that's actually very interesting because that's a different interpretation of Dreamtale than what I heard from the various PDFs. Now, this is from 2016. So this actual creation could be older. This is just when the video itself came out. 7 years? Shit, man. So this is a minimum of 7 years old, and the story could have progressed for the PDF I saw. But that's interesting to note that this is more that the dark sense that what became Nightmare was initially viewed as the villain who became jealous, as opposed to what I saw in the PDF saying that it was more, he was more or less possessed by an amalgamation of his soul and someone else's, and all the negativity warping him. It's very different.
The tree
Love the
dried
style,
up,
though.
and only one last golden fruit was saved. People were full of panic and fear.
What if
They
they're gonna
blamed
touch
the
on
brother of the dark fruit for the fate of the tree. They cornered him, and in desperation, he ate one of the dark fruits. Its power and darkness consumed him, and he ate all of the dark fruits, becoming completely corrupted and extremely powerful.
No.
Oh.
And there's Nightmare. With the tentacles. Black bile barfing. Ugh.
I don't want your help. Stay away from me. I hate you. I want to hurt you.
Oh, the smile is creepy. And there's the Nightmare Sans.
His brother, seeing the transformation,
Ooh. Oh, that's an incredibly textured version. Did someone get a printout of it, or is this a stylization they put on top of it? Or a scan of something physical? I don't know, but I really like it. It's really cool texture.
the last golden fruit and confronted his brother.
What's happening, little bro? Aren't you gonna give your big bro a good hug? Yeah, you can see just the style changes from early on. Like, some of them look very animated. Then there's like, these are like, it's cute. There's a lot of different styles. I wonder if it's different people's takes or the specific person who did each one. And then you have this, which is just, that's creepy, man. The dripping coming off it, it's such a creepy effect.
What happened, little bro? Aren't you gonna give your big bro a good hug?
You've brought fear and pain to an innocent universe. Why?
You know what they say. In order to make an omelet, some eggs need to be broken.
Yeah, but usually you take the shell out as well, and I don't think this metaphor is working like you thought it did. I'm not sure if it's me or them.
They weren't eggs. They were innocent people who won't be able to feel happiness ever again.
Okay, I resisted the temptation. We're good. I was going to make some kind of joke about how this was being sentenced to go to New Jersey, but that would be just way too accurate.
So what? That's exactly what I wanted.
Brother, I know this isn't you. Let me help you. We can fix this together. Please, just let me help you.
Nope. Oh, he actually could take the mask off? Ah! Nope. Did he literally just let them go for a second? Oh, so you get the chance to see the original one, and it's just one giant... Ugh. You're just watching the original Dark Sands just bleed out that oil and the black goop. That is so creepy.
That's the most corny thing I've ever heard.
I mean, coming from a Sans, that's actually saying something.
What?
Then you leave me no choice, brother. I will fight you.
Oh, it's a variation of Megalovania. Oh.
I can't.
I knew you
Ooh, wow. Right even through the break in the scene.
were weak. You just can't bring yourself to hurt me. I, however, do not suffer from such things.
Damn. Oh. I will admit, I really do like this style of art where they're getting the fight scene created to tell the story through various sketches pulled together in the animations they have. So even though these might be dissimilar items, they're all pulled together in a very interesting way to create the narrative they want to tell everything.
Don't make me do this. Don't make me fight
Very
you.
creative.
You had many happy memories and positive feelings.
And again, anything that used Megalovania.
You won't
Wait, is this
escape.
Hope is in Dreams? Ah.
I'm sorry I couldn't save you, brother.
They put in the lightsaber sound effect. I swear, they just need to get a Wilhelm scream in here somewhere. Follow the tradition and just randomly throw in a Wilhelm scream. Also, for anyone wondering, it's actually a tradition in a lot of filmmaking to just try and work in a Wilhelm scream into random places. Now, some people think it's mostly famous because of Star Wars, because there was a scene in the turbo shaft in the first Death Star where a stormtrooper fell and you hear the I can't speak today, the Wilhelm scream going, ah, as he falls down. That is not actually where it originated. It was some kind of Journey into the Amazon movie that involved a guy getting taken into the water by a snake or a boa constrictor or something like that, maybe an alligator. And that's where the Wilhelm scream came from. But it's been in so many movies. It's a bit of Foley, specifically an audio piece that people bring in, that it's become a tradition now to work it into any scene they can, where it does fit at least once in a movie. So I'm kind of surprised with all the other sound effects they pulled from that's not one of them. Yeah, that's what I'm focusing on. Damn! Okay, there's a lot of different art styles they pulled in, but that is a very different one, and frankly, I really like it. This is something a lot of anime has started doing as well, for a very written-on, chalked feeling. The only way I know it's done intentionally like this, as opposed to the anime style, is that normally they would have these beams, but then the background would be much different in animation, which is kind of similar here. But I do like the crayon, almost sketched in effect. It's just one I've really started to come to love.
Unfortunately, the power of one golden fruit could not match the power of many dark ones. Nightmare defeated his brother, Dream, and turned him to stone. It is said that Dream will one day free himself from his stone prison. He will then defeat his brother, and harmony will return to the land.
Now that's interesting, because in Underverse, Dream is alive and active, so he's either... This is before their fight, which I doubt it, or after he's alive again. I mean, it is Underverse. It is a fan fiction of a fan fiction of other fan fictions, so it is entirely possible. Huh. Maybe? Or it was created after that happened without going further into detail. Whoa. Created by... Oh, there's so much fan art.
Smoother than per usual.
Oh, there's even more? So it's more stories on the side of it as well, okay. So that was the intro story before they're doing the rest of the story. It does very much feel like an overview to this individual universe.
What's going on with the king? What do you mean by that? He's in a far worse mood than per usual. It's already horrible enough having to deal with his constant screaming and threats on a daily basis, so now having to stand him twice as grouchy will be even worse.
Wait. I think this is the Undertale version of Papyrus? I could be mistaken, but he looks edgy and dark, so I'm kind of assuming it is.
Oh, I think that's because Dream's freeing himself from his stone prison. Well, he shouldn't be venting his anger out on us. We are to blame if Dream's more powerful than him. And
apparently it's a corrupted version of Sans, and that would be Nightmare right behind him?
Therefore able to escape. Why, I'm definitely right! I don't know what you're bickering about. The king's the best! Oh, come on, man, you know he's a jerk.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. Nightmare apparently became the king of his own realm rather than just destroying it. I was not expecting that. Huh. I thought it was Undertale because he was dark, but no, this is its own thing altogether. And he's annoyed by people bad-mouthing him. Oh.
He's behind you.
Oh, it's multiple different papyruses.
It's funny.
Right in the dick.
There are barely a few days left for Dream to free himself from his stone prison. And when that happens, we need to be ready to trap him once again. And you get more worried for talk about your miserable lives.
Dream did escape his stone prison, but instead of facing his brother, Dream ran away to his old home, which laid in ruins. Okay, so we're getting the after effect of the fight now.
I can't believe it. First time I tried him to destroy it was easy, but now he possesses the support of many.
Okay. I know what they're trying to do with the audio for Nightmare in this version, but oh, wow. It's not the distortion, but because I hear it in headphones right now, I'm not sure if it comes through for everyone else. It's switching between both sides constantly in like every half second. Between that and the distortion of the audio, if it wasn't for having the text on screen right now, I would have absolutely no idea what's being said. If it was a slow rolling distortion, that'd be one thing. But between jumping back and forth and the distortion on top of it, it's just confused enough that it sounds like gibberish. It sounds effective to make him seem monstrous and inhuman or in monster. But it is a very hard effect to work with, which I think takes the effect for the intended purpose, but then goes a little too far to the point where it's probably not the right way to balance that. Also, just random, dark, corrupted Papyrus smiling at the candles like, hi, boss. Sorry. Even in this version, it's kind of hilarious that he's just cutesy. Papyrus is best boy.
Idiotic monsters and humans.
That audio. Yep.
What?
Minora?
Are those?
Oh, this? You like the birds? They were pretty comfortable.
Are they?
And I do think they light up the dark moon around here.
Oh my god. Is he really getting Dream branded Croc boots? Maybe Nightmare's right to do all this stuff. Dream has truly gone too far.
If I pull a string together, I've been trying to catch my brother for weeks. Just so that he doesn't ruin our plans. Due to optimism with support from everyone's hearts. Or else I will be able to bring fear and chaos to all universes. And you happen to be using his merchandise.
Truly, Dream has found the unbeatable power Capitalism. It is darker than Nightmare Can Behold, and it is why he will never win. Oh my god, he has even more merch! Oh my god! You might be strong, but you're as strong as capitalism. He just read out. Oh.
Can I get over this?
Ooh, much darker linings and shading too.
Embodiment of good feelings and hopes. You told me that, right, Mom? Then, if I am that, why won't the tears stop flowing? Why can't I stop feeling sad? Everything went wrong for both of us.
Yeah.
I never wanted this to happen. I wasn't strong enough to protect him from his own fear.
Why do I know this song? I know it's a classical piece, but for some reason, the only thing I can think of is Lucy. Because I can't... Elfenlied, that's it. It's the opening song. And they have a bunch of stylized images done in an old... Not impressionist, but I think whatever came after a cubist style. Not surrealism, but early 19th century style of art that involved abstract. It was probably right before abstract. It was more odd shapes. Just I know the style of art that they use, and I can't remember it. But they did that, and they have this song playing. It sounds so incredibly creepy, and I'm just listening to it here. It's like, yeah, it's adding an extra layer because of the recognition. I can't speak today. Recognition. There's the word. Of the song on top of a sad moment that adds not just to the sad aspect of it, but a bit of darkness going like, hey, there's that underlying creep. It's not intentional because this is very much my own personal interpretation, reminding me of Elfenlied and how fucked up that show was by comparison to this one that's using the same tune. That said, maybe it is intentional because someone had that association themselves. I personally wouldn't assume that, but it would be fascinating if it's actually what they're going for because of other people maybe making that association, because I'm going to take a wild guess here. People in the anime sphere might also be in the Undertale sphere. So maybe that's a common idea that they would get across. Although Elfenlied is pretty old at this point. I feel horrible for saying Elfenlied is old because I'm now starting to feel old myself. Back in my day, things were not in 1080p. They were black and white and we liked it. I say while watching a black and white image.
I'm also frightened, Mom. Every beautiful thing that I've lived in the past, it's gone. There's nobody left to smile.
Good audio for the voice actor.
Empty. I feel lonely. Does this make me bad? It should. I'm supposed to feel happy or hopeful that everything will go back to normal.
Interesting how they're giving them characterization that shows that they're not just one-dimensional, although apparently he thought he was.
But I can't. I can only think of how much I miss all of you, especially you and him. Is this what millions of people feel? Sadness and loneliness? I don't like it.
It is kind of interesting, though, how just this moment right here of showing their personal vulnerability and embracing the darker aspects, even if they don't want to, is showing how eventually this comic could reach a resolution with Nightmare if someone ever wants to play it up in their own AU or this initial one by saying, hey, you also have good parts inside of you. Deal with it, bitch. It's an interesting way to look at it. I like it.
I don't want it. Mom, you're not coming back.
Nope.
Are you?
Okay, that's flat out fascinating as far as I'm concerned. I love getting into these looks at just not just the comics themselves, but the overarching stories, but all these various takes from Cor Frisk and Dreamtale's overarching stories and various art pieces to show how their individual stories progressed. I like this because it's part story itself, part overview, and part animation, and all three combined to not just tell you the story, but show some of the people who got involved to make more for this specific niche within the overarching individual timelines or alternate universes. And it's really cool just to see how people are coalescing or collaborating. That's probably the better word. Collaborating to create these pieces or just adding in their own takes, and they can take them or leave them. It's just, I really like this. It's something the same I've seen in all of the Undertale community, as well as, and I'm going to throw out a curveball on this one, the SCP community, how things just grow and develop and build worlds independent of the initial creation and freely beyond any reason. It's just really fun. I know this last one was a really sad piece. It's just like watching little kids with all the power being dragged down, and admittedly, a lot of my happiness is based on Dream one-upping Nightmare by having Dream merch that even Nightmare's cards were using. Oh, that is a thing of absolute beauty, man. And I'm glad someone made that, because that is absolutely perfect. It's like, see? Happy, power, money. Oh. I hope there's follow-up to both versions, like the potential of showing that they're not just only bad, only good emotions, but they do have a little mix in there, as we saw with Dream having some of the nightmare, some of the darkness, will eventually see the other side. And also a moment where Dream is either selling his merch or finding out they're selling merch for him, because I want to see that reaction. That would be so funny. Will it happen? I have no idea. So I've got an entire playlist of these now from Above Average Gaming, which I mentioned in the beginning. There's a ton of them on here. This is a list of 311 videos. I did not glance at that number. I was unaware of that. Some of these videos are an hour long, such as the Ask Error Sans movie, plus bloopers. Wow, now. If you guys like this, let me know. I'll try and make this a regular thing where you just go through this list to see how many animations are out there. I've got a few different lists, and this is not the only one. I've had other lists as well beyond what Above Averaging gave me. This is the one I just happen to pull up right now. You know, there was a time where I thought there would only be like a handful of animations for Undertale. I thought I could watch them in a day. Maybe just take an hour. Do it right then and there. Yeah. I have learned. That said, a lot more cool stuff. I'm okay with that. So if you guys haven't figured it out already, because I've never said this before, there's a link below to the original videos. Hit it up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.